Good morning everyone. Now in this session we will talk about the different factors that affect photosynthesis. So there are two factors, external and internal. In external factors we will be talking about the light, temperature and water, and internal chlorophyll, protoplasm and structure of leaf. So let me start first of all with the external factors. Now, in the external factor, it is said that as the light intensity increases, photosynthesis also increases. Yes, it is correct in a sense, but there is something which happens. It is also related with CO2 concentration. Okay, here I have made this graph. Here I have put rate of photosynthesis which is increasing with the increased light intensity. But yes, there are few changes which are happening that I am going to tell you. Here you can see that as increased light intensity, the CO2 concentration is also increasing. So when the CO2 concentration it reaches to 0.02%, here the photosynthesis gets stabilized. That's why I have put S1 here. Okay. Then again further, if the CO2 will keep on increasing and the intensity will also, the light intensity will also keep on increasing, photosynthesis will also increase, rate of photosynthesis will also increase, and then there is a point 0.05% concentration of CO2 where again it gets stabilized. Okay, so what do I mean by this? In this graph I have shown you that with the increased light intensity, the rate of photosynthesis also increased, but with the same CO2 concentration, when the concentration of the CO2 during the process of photosynthesis reaches 0.02%, then here it gets stabilized. It is increasing, but here it is getting stabilized. Then again with the concentration, with the CO2 concentration increasing and the rate of light intensity is also increasing, the photosynthesis is also increasing. You can see from this graph. But again there is a point where the concentration of CO2 will be 0.05%. Here again it will get stabilized. So this is how it will be affected by light and CO2 concentration. Next is temperature. We all know that as the temperature increases, photosynthesis also increases. But there is an optimum temperature, and optimum temperature is 35 degrees Celsius. Up to here, the photosynthesis will be maximum, and after that it will be very slow. And at 40 degrees Celsius, it will definitely stop. Okay, so what did I say? Up to 35 degrees Celsius. The photosynthesis, the process of photosynthesis will keep on increasing, but as it will cross this temperature. If the temperature will be more than 35, it will become slow, and at 40 it will stop. Okay, so up to 35 degrees Celsius, which is its optimum temperature, with every increase, with every 10 degree increase in the temperature, it will double the rate of photosynthesis. Now what do I mean? Supposing temperature is 20 degree Celsius, and from 20 degrees Celsius it has jumped over 30 degree Celsius. So this is the 10 degree increase in the temperature. So this will also double the amount of photosynthesis. Okay, this will also double the amount of photosynthesis. Now next, water. As you all know that water is also a very important raw material. So if there is a scarcity of water because of the much water, loss of much water during the transpiration, or maybe because of some reason that water is not getting absorbed by the roots and it is not getting accessible to the other parts of the plant or the leaf, then here also the photosynthesis will stop, or it will become very slow. So these are the three external factors which really affects photosynthesis. Let's talk about the internal factors. Chlorophyll. Now sometimes because of the mineral deficiency in the plant, there is a deficiency of the chlorophyll, and then it stops the process of photosynthesis. Protoplasm. As we know, what is protoplasm? That is the cell membrane. Okay. Now sometimes all the membranes along with the cytoplasm, okay, all the membrane along with the cytoplasm is protoplasm. Now what happens that maybe because of any defect or maybe dehydration of protoplasm. It also leads to stoppage of the photosynthesis. Okay, if there will be any defect, or maybe the protoplasm is like dehydrated because of any reason, so it will also stop the photosynthesis. Third one is structure of the leaf. Sometimes the leaf is very narrow in size, or it will be having having very fewer stomata, all right, or any like right now in the previous video we have learned that how the leaf is adapted to perform photosynthesis process. If any of those qualities are not present in the leaf, okay, then also it will hinder the process of photosynthesis. It will stop, or it will slow down the process of photosynthesis. So these are the external and internal factors which affects the rate of photosynthesis. Now next we will learn about starch, and we will be doing these experiments. When we were doing photosynthesis, we have learned few things, that there are raw materials which are necessary. Even one raw material, if it will be missing, the photosynthesis will never occur. And what are those raw materials? Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll should be there, water should be there, okay, sunlight should be there, and CO2 is also necessary. If any of these things will not be there, that photosynthesis will never occur. And also we will be doing an experiment which will be showing that when the photosynthesis occurs, it releases the oxygen gas. Okay, so these all experiments are going to prove us that there are few things which are necessary for the photosynthesis, and if any of these is not there, the photosynthesis will never happen. And also at the end we will be doing, then oxygen is produced because of photosynthesis. So first of all, in these experiments we are doing the de-starch leaves. Now what is de-starching? Taking out or removal of starch from the leaf is de-starching of the leaf. Now what is that starch? We all know that is the food product of the photosynthesis, glucose. That I have told you that glucose gets converted into starch. It is stored in the leaf in the form of starch. Okay. So first of all, I will be telling you that how do we de-starch a leaf. We will take any plant, we will keep the plant in the dark room, absolutely dark room, where there is no excess of light. Okay, then we will keep it there for 1 or 2 days. Then after that we will see that it is totally de-starched, because whole of the starch, it will be removed out of the leaf. It will be stored into the other parts of the plant, but in the leaf it will not be present. Okay, now the first experiment that we are going to do is iodine test. How can we test the presence of starch in a leaf? How can we test that there is a presence of starch in a leaf? So what we need to do, step by step I am going to tell you. The first thing, we'll take a leaf. Okay, we'll take a leaf from a plant. We will keep that leaf in the boiling water. We will boil that leaf, and then we will keep the same leaf in the test tube containing methylated spirit. We will keep the leaf. Here you can see I have kept the leaf. This is a leaf and this is a test tube containing methylated spirit, and I have kept this test tube in a boiling water, which is boiling of course. Okay, and it will keep on, we will just boil this water till this leaf will turn into pale white. Okay, till the color, this green leaf will change into pale white color. We need to remove the chlorophyll out of it. Okay, now once it will turn into pale white color, what are the things that we are going to do? We are going to take out the leaf from this test tube, but we will see the leaf will be hard and brittle. So in order to make it soft, again we will put in the boiled water. We will keep the leaf into the boiled water for some time. Then we will take it out. We will take the leaf into a dish, into a petri dish. We will put few drops of iodine solution, and we will see blue-black color. This blue-black color indicates the presence of starch in a leaf. And if the leaf is not going to give blue-black color, the leaf shows the brownish color, that means the leaf doesn't have starch in it. And if it shows blue-black color, it shows it has starch in it. So this is the iodine test that we conduct on a leaf in order to know the presence of a starch in a leaf. Now moving on to the next experiment, that is, we will be conducting this experiment to know that chlorophyll is necessary for a leaf. Alright, first of all I will be explaining these experiments, then I will go to these experiments whose diagrams I have already made. So chlorophyll is necessary. Okay, sorry, in the first one you must be thinking that what is the need of removing the chlorophyll. As you all know that chlorophyll has a green color. Okay, so if we will take the green color leaf, then the green color will mask, okay, it will hide the blue black color, so we will not be able to know the presence of starch. So that's why first of all we need to remove the green color of the chlorophyll, then only we will be able to see the blue black color of the starch. Okay, now next is chlorophyll is necessary. What we are going to do, okay, in the experiment. Now in these experiments, why did I tell you that how to de-starch a leaf? Because de-starching is necessary. Okay, because in these all experiments we are going to take the de-starch leaves. That's why I have told you that how to de-starch a leaf. Now chlorophyll is necessary. In order to do the experiment, I will take a variegated leaf. What is variegated leaf? A de-starched leaf. Okay, first of all I will take a variegated leaf, a leaf having green area also and white area also, white area and green area. Okay, so I will de-starch the leaf. This plant also will be de-starched first of all. Then again I will keep the same plant, okay, in the sunlight, and after few hours, after 4 or 5 hours, I will pluck one leaf out of this plant, okay, and I will outline the green areas of this leaf, as well as I will only outline the green areas. Okay, just outline the green areas. Then test the same leaf. Test the same leaf in the same way we have tested for starch. Okay, test the same leaf, and when we will test it, we will do the starch test, that is iodine test on the same leaf. We will find only these areas which are green in color, they will turn into blue black, and rest white area will not turn into blue black. Why? Because these green areas, they consist of chlorophyll, and wherever chlorophyll is present, there only the starch will be formed, because the area in which chlorophyll is present, that area will do photosynthesis only, and if it will do photosynthesis, it will get starch, and starch will give blue black color with the help of iodine test. So this is all about the chlorophyll test. Now the next one is sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. Okay, now we have to prove that sunlight is necessary for the photosynthesis. So again we will take a plant, okay, we will de-starch the plant, and then we will keep that plant in the sunlight, and before that we will take a black paper, okay, and inside that black paper, small paper we will take, and we will stick that paper on one of the leaf, any one of the leaf, but inside that black paper we will draw any pattern, okay, like a star, and we will cut that pattern only. I hope that you are getting my point. What did I say? We will take a de-starched leaf, again we will keep this de-starched plant, and again we are going to keep that de-starched plant outside in the sunlight, but before that what we are going to do, we are going to stick a black paper over it, having any pattern, having a star pattern or any pattern, and we will draw that star on it, and we will cut it from in between, this white part you can say, okay, and I will stick the paper on the leaf, and after say 4 to 5 hours I will just take out this paper, and I will conduct the iodine test on the same leaf, and what would I find? I will find that the area which was covered with this black paper, it will not turn blue black, but the area which was not covered, like this star portion, okay, I have cut a pattern out of it. This star portion or this portion which is not covered by the paper, it will turn blue-black. It shows that only that area which was uncovered was getting sunlight and the covered area was not getting sunlight. So the area which was getting sunlight, it was able to make starch. It was able to perform photosynthesis. So that's why it has turned into blue-black, and rest of the area could not turn, which was covered. Okay. So these two experiments shows that chlorophyll is necessary and sunlight is also necessary for the photosynthesis. Next, and a very important experiment, that CO2 is also necessary for the photosynthesis. That CO2 is also necessary for photosynthesis. So what we are going to do, we are going to take a flask, okay, and also we are going to take a twig with the leaves on it, and half of the leaf we will keep inside the flask, okay, and we will just half of the leaf we will keep inside the flask and half of the leaf will be outside the flask. Okay, what did I say? We will keep half of the leaf outside the flask and half of the leaf inside the flask. Okay, and then again in this flask we will put potassium hydroxide, and the quality of the potassium hydroxide is this, that it absorbs CO2. Okay, so it will absorb the whole CO2. If any CO2, any amount of CO2 is present in this flask, it will absorb that. Okay, then after 2 or 3 hours we will take out the leaf. Alright, we will take out the leaf and again we will conduct the same iodine test on the leaf, and what we will observe, that the area which was inside the flask, it will not turn blue-black, but the area which was outside the flask will turn into blue-black. Why? Because the area which was inside the flask, it was not getting CO2. So since it was not getting CO2, it was not able to perform photosynthesis. But outside, it was getting CO2. So it was able to perform photosynthesis. So that's why it had starch. But it did not produce starch. Okay, it could not produce starch. Why? Because of the absence of CO2. Because here we put potassium hydroxide that is able to absorb the CO2. So this shows that CO2 is necessary for photosynthesis. So these all experiments that we have done that these 3 things are very necessary for the photosynthesis: chlorophyll, sunlight, CO2, and here the first test that we have done for the starch test. How can we conduct a test to prove the presence of starch in a plant? Now the very last experiment that we are doing is here. This shows that oxygen is produced during the photosynthesis. So what we are going to do in the experiment, I have taken a beaker and I will put pond water in this beaker. Which water? Pond water. And also I will take any water plant, maybe hydrilla. Okay, so I will keep this hydrilla over a funnel, inverted funnel. I will put an inverted funnel over it. Okay, this is the inverted funnel over it, and over this inverted funnel I will invert a test tube full of water. I will put a test tube over it which will be full of water, and I'll keep the apparatus like this, and after 4 and 5 hours we will see that there are bubbles which have been produced in this test tube. You can see the bubbles coming out from the plant and going into the test tube. Now these bubbles show the presence of a gas, okay, because bubbles are produced by the presence of gas. But how can we show that these bubbles are of oxygen? Take a glowing splinter, and if you will bring the glowing splinter very near to this, okay, where the oxygen is being released very near, then it will start sparkling. Okay, and once it will start sparkling, it shows the presence of oxygen, because we all know that oxygen is also required for combustion. It is necessary for combustion. Okay, so this shows the presence of oxygen that is present, and it shows that during photosynthesis, which gas is being produced? oxygen is being produced. So these are all our experiments that are very, very necessary, and we have showed that these all things are necessary for the photosynthesis, and also oxygen is produced during photosynthesis. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.